If I lost everything tomorrow and literally had to start from zero, this is exactly what I would do. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to focus on and in what order. No more guessing, no more wondering what steps you should take next. So lock in, take notes, and let's get into it. This is where it all starts. And if you don't get this one right, the other 2 steps don't even matter. You see, most traders try to fix everything except this thing. They work on their mindset. They tighten their risk management. They learn new entry models. And all of that's useful, but it's useless without rules underneath them. And the reason this is step 1 isn't because it's the easiest. It's because everything else in this video, everything you do as a trader from this point forward gets built on top of it. Without it, you've got nothing to build on. You can do everything else right and still lose because this one step isn't in place. Here's what I mean. Right now, if you're like most traders watching this, you don't actually trust yourself at the chart. You take a setup and you're not 100% sure if it's a good one. You enter a trade and immediately start second guessing yourself. You see price move against you and you panic. You see price move in your favor and you close it early because you don't trust it'll keep going. That's not a confidence problem as much as you probably believe it is. It's a system problem. You can't trust yourself because you've got nothing solid to trust. You're making decisions in the moment based on what looks right. And what looks right today won't look right tomorrow. And so every session that you're trading starts from scratch. A real system kills all of that because the decision isn't yours anymore. The rules made it for you. You either meet the criteria or you don't. You either take the trade or you don't. There's no second guessing. There's no doubt. There's just the rule and the response. And that's what creates confidence. Not affirmations, not visualization, not telling yourself you're a trader in the mirror. Real confidence comes from knowing that your decisions are based on something tested and proven, something repeatable, something that doesn't change just because you had 2 losses in a row. And here's the good news. You don't have to spend years building this from scratch. You don't have to figure it out all alone. I've already made a video that walks you through exactly how to fix this. It's the most important video on my channel, and it's linked below this one. Don't click it yet. Finish this blueprint first. Get all 3 steps in your head and then go straight to that video after, because the rest of this blueprint stacks on top of step 1. If step 1 isn't sorted, the other 2 steps can't do their job. So make this your next move. Not tomorrow, not next week, right after this video. That's the one thing that actually changes things for you in 2026. Here's the truth about step 1. Most traders never actually do it. They tell themselves they will. They say they're going to build their rules. They say they're going to backtest and develop their edge, and then they never do because it's the hardest part. It's the slowest part, and it's the least exciting part. But it's the part that decides whether you become one of the few who make it or one of the many who don't. There are no shortcuts past this. Either you build the system yourself, which takes years, or you use the one that's already been built and tested. Either way, you need rules. Specific, mechanical, tested rules for everything you do at the chart. Without them, you're not a trader. You're just someone who watches the charts and hopes. You can consider yourself a gambler. Get this right, and everything else becomes possible. This is the one that most traders skip. Or they try it for a week and then simply stop. And I get it. I was literally the same. When I first started journaling, I didn't get it. I'd write down my trades, note if I won or lost, write a sentence about how I felt, and then I'd close the journal and go right back to making the exact same mistakes all over again. It felt pointless because it was pointless. The way I was doing it was wrong. And that's the problem. Most traders don't quit journaling because they're undisciplined. They quit because they don't actually know how to do it properly. So they treat it like a diary. They log the trade, they move on, and nothing changes. And here's what I figured out. Journaling isn't really about your data anymore. We've got the tools for that. Software that tracks your win rate, your risk to reward, your expectancy, your drawdowns, all of it automated. So if all you're doing in your journal is logging numbers, you're wasting time. The tools already exist. The real point of journaling is something that nobody talks about. It's self-awareness. 95% of traders don't lose because their strategy is broken. They lose because they get in their own way. They lose because of fear, because of greed, because of emotion, because of themselves. And until you actually understand the version of you that shows up at the chart, no amount of strategy is going to save you. That's what journaling is really for. Learning who you are when you trade. Learning your triggers. Learning what sets you off. Learning the exact moments where you stop being a trader and start being a reactive human making bad decisions with money. But this only works if you have step 1 in place. Because again, without rules, you've got nothing to measure yourself against. You can't tell when you're being emotional if you've got no benchmark for what discipline looks like. You need an edge backed by rules first, because then it becomes obvious when you break them. And every time you break a rule, That's the moment to investigate. That's where the gold is. You broke a rule. Why? Was it fear of losing money? Was it greed? Was it impatience? Was it boredom? Was it ego because someone on Twitter just posted a win and you felt behind? Once you find the why, you ask another question. Why does that affect you? Why is losing money on this one trade something you can't handle? Why is missing this one setup something you can't sit with? The deeper you go, the more you start to see yourself clearly. And that's when the real change starts. Let me give you one example. One that a lot of you are going to recognize. Let's say you take a trade. It runs nicely into profit, and then it starts pulling back. You get nervous, you get attached to the win, and so you close it slightly green just to lock in something. 5 minutes later, it reverses and starts running again. Now you're sat there watching the move that you should have been in, and you feel that pull, the fear of missing out. So you jump back in. But the second entry is worse. It's higher up, there's less room, and the market does what it usually does. It comes back, it takes you out for a loss, and then runs straight to where the original take profit was. You ended that trade, and you took a loss when you should have ended it with a full winner. That's not a strategy problem. That's a you problem. And no amount of studying SMC, no new entry model, no better setup is going to fix that. Because the setup was already there. The plan was already there. You broke it. You. Not the market, not the strategy, you. That's what journaling is for. To catch that pattern, see it in writing, to realize it's not a one-off, it's a repeated behavior. The same trigger creating the same mistake again and again. And once you see it, you can finally do something about it. You can recognize it next time when it shows up. You can pause, take a breath, and then you can choose to stick to your rules. That's the unlock. So that is what proper journaling look like. Yes, log the trade. Yes, log the result. But the real work is what comes after. What was the feeling before I entered? What was I thinking when I broke my rule? What was going on in my life that day? What was the pattern? Have I done this before? What's the underlying trigger? You become a student of yourself, not just your charts. Most traders never do this work, which is why they stay stuck. They keep blaming the market, the strategy, the mentor, when the entire time the real opponent was sitting there in their chair holding the mouse, making the same emotional mistakes they've made 100 times before. Don't be one of them. Do the work that nobody else is willing to do. Get to know yourself as a trader. Find your triggers and then cut them out one by one. That's how to turn a working system into actual profit. Because a system in the hands of someone who can execute it is worth 1,000 times more than a system in the hands of someone who can't. This is the breakthrough step, the one that ties everything together. And honestly, the one that separates the traders who plateau from the traders who just keep growing. Step 2 gives you the awareness. You journal. You start to see your patterns. You catch your triggers. You understand why you do what you do at the chart. But awareness on its own simply isn't enough. You can know exactly what your problem is and still do it anyway in the moment. Every trader has had that experience. You're sat at the chart, you feel the urge to break a rule, and there's a voice in your head saying, don't do it. You know you shouldn't. You know exactly what's happening, and you do it anyway. That's why journaling alone doesn't fix this issue. Because in the moment, the awareness isn't loud enough. The emotion is louder. And that's where step 3 really comes in. You take everything you've learned about yourself from journaling, your triggers, your patterns, the behavior that comes from each one, and you put it all on one page. One simple page that lives on your desk or on your screen. And you read it every single day, before you start trading, after you finish trading, every session, no exceptions. This is what mine looks like. And this is the same thing I still do today, even now. At the top of the page are my goals. Specific, not just money, the trader that I'm building myself into, the standard that I'm holding myself to. Then underneath that, my core trading rules, the non-negotiables, what I take, what I skip, how I execute, and then below that, my triggers, the exact patterns that I've caught myself in, the behavior that follows each one, and right next to it, the reminder, what I do instead, the version of me I want to be when that trigger fires. One page, everything I need to remember about who I am as a trader right in front of me every single day. And here's why this works. Awareness without repetition fades. You can read your journal once and feel inspired. By the next session, you've already forgot about it. Life gets busy. Emotions consume us. The lessons slip. But if you're reading that every morning before you trade, that awareness stays at the front of your mind, loud enough to actually override the emotion in the moment. And I'm telling you now, give this 30 days, just 30 days. Read it every single morning before you open the charts. Read it every single evening after you close them. And I promise you, by the end of those 30 days, you will be a completely different trader. Not because anything changed in the market, but because you changed in the chair. After 30 days, you'll catch yourself before you make the mistake. You'll feel the trigger fire and you'll recognize it instantly. And instead of acting on it, you'll pause, because the awareness is so loud now that it gets to you before the emotion does. And that's peak awareness. And that's the unlock that most traders never achieve. But here's the part that nobody tells you. This isn't a one-time thing. The one-page document isn't something you build once and forget it. It evolves. Because as you grow, new problems arise. The trader that you were 6 months ago had one set of triggers. The trader you are now may have different ones. As you scale up your risk, new emotions appear. As your account grows, new fears show up. Stuff that you've never had to deal with at smaller sizes suddenly become the thing that's getting in your way. That's why the document adapts with you. Every level of trader that you become brings a new set of inner battles. The trader making 1% a week has different demons than the trader making 10% a month. And the trader managing 6,000 has different demons than the one managing 6 figures. The size changes you, the pressure changes you, and the document has to keep up with them. So you keep journaling, you keep finding your patterns, you keep updating the page, and the awareness keeps growing as you grow. This is what separates the traders who break through from the traders who plateau. The plateau happens when you stop doing the inner work, when you think you've cracked it, when you assume you'll never make the same mistakes again. That's exactly when the new mistakes show up. And without the awareness work, you don't catch them. You repeat them. You go backwards. The traders who keep climbing are the ones who never stop looking inwards, who treat the one-page document like a living organism, who understand that as the trader grows, the inner game grows with them. And that's how you scale with confidence. Not by being fearless, not by being a robot, by being so aware of yourself that nothing in your own head can take you off your process. So those are the 3 steps. Step 1, build a system with rules. That's the foundation that everything else stacks on. Step 2, journal properly. Get to know yourself as a trader and find your triggers. And then step 3, build your one-page inner edge. Read it every single day and stay in peak awareness as you grow. If you do these 3 things in this order, 2026 won't look like any of the years before. And remember, step 1 is the most important. If you don't have rules underneath everything, none of the other work matters. And like I told you, there's a video right below this one that's going to help you solve that. Go watch it right after this. That's your next move.